Welcome into Hudson Sports Zone, fans. Today is Saturday, September 25th. I'm Jerry Hudson, coming at you from Las Vegas. On today's show, I will quickly wrap up Thursday night's game, tell you what quarterbacks are out for week 3, what 3 surprising teams will be 3-0 at the end of this week, and are playoff bound. Plus my picks against the spread, which of course are for educational and informational purposes only. Let's get started. I'm asking all of you Hudson Sports Zone fans out there, on a scale of 1 to 10, how severe is Christian McCaffrey's hamstring injury, and how will it affect the Panthers' chance to make the playoffs? Let's start there. Carolina was favored by 7.5, at least that's the number I got, versus Houston. If you follow me on Twitter, I took Carolina, laid the points. Come on, it was a close game in the first half. But who didn't think Carolina, with Matt Rule, who's turning out to be an outstanding NFL coach, wasn't going to pour it on in the second half? The talent disparity is just too one-sided towards Carolina. I think Carolina is a much better team than any of us gave credit for. And right now, I wouldn't be so surprised if they finish second in their division. Houston, hey, it's too bad Tyrod Taylor got another opportunity and got hurt. Happened last year with the Chargers, happened this year in Houston. Seems the guy's cursed. He just can't get an opportunity to stay on the field long enough to prove that he's a starter in the NFL, at least a top 15 starter in the NFL. Let's go to the Baltimore and Detroit game. Baltimore is -8 versus Detroit. I've got Baltimore here. I don't think this game will be close. I think Jackson and the rest of the Baltimore Ravens offense will be way too much for Detroit. Detroit's defense just fell apart during the Packers, and I don't think that they'll be able to hold on to Baltimore for long. I don't expect this game to be close. I think the 8 is kind. I think it should be more like 12, so I'm taking Baltimore laying the points. Let's go over to the Atlanta Falcons versus the New York Giants. This is a puzzler. The Giants are at home and favored by 3. All I can figure here is Vegas has given 3 points to the home team. This is just a battle of crappy teams. One of them has to win, unless obviously they go through overtime and they're still tied. But I think one of these teams wins, and since I have to pick one, I'm picking the Giants. Don't know that they'll cover the 3. I'm hoping they'll cover the 3, but I think this is at least a push if it comes down to a close game. Matt Ryan just has not proven that he can get anything done without Julio Jones, who they shipped out during the offseason. To the next game, the New Orleans Saints versus the New England Patriots. Patriots are only favored by 3. Really? Really, Hudson Sports Zone fans? Please hit me up on Twitter and let me know what I'm missing here. Why is the number so low? I realize Mac Jones is a rookie, but we're talking about Jameis Winston leading the Saints into Gillette Stadium in Foxborough against the Bill Belichick defense. 3? Only 3? I would love this number at 7. I especially like New England -3. Cincinnati versus Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh favored by 3.5. I'm taking Cincinnati. Yep, I'm doing it again. I'm picking those pesky Bengals to cover the spread and actually win outright. TJ Watt's out for Pittsburgh, which should give Joe Burrow just a little bit more time than he normally would have, and the time he needs to be able to complete enough passes to beat Pittsburgh. I know Big Ben's going to try to give it a go, but come on. How do you throw with a hurt pec? Big Ben hasn't been good with 2 healthy pecs. I don't expect him to be any good, and I'm not thinking Mason Rudolph's going to come in and save the day. Take Cincinnati. Indianapolis versus Tennessee. I don't just like this. I love this. I love Tennessee -5. With King Henry running wild, which I expect him to do again this game, just like he did the second half of last game, I don't expect this to be close. I love Tennessee, even if it was -7 or -8 at -5. I love it. They're at home. Vrabel's got the team refocused. And Wentz won't be good enough. Whether he plays or not, he's got 2 sore ankles. That's just not, you just can't play the quarterback position on two sore ankles and be effective enough to beat Tennessee. Here's an interesting game. I say interesting because the Washington football team is going up north to the western side of New York to play the Buffalo Bills. The line started out at 8.5, which is what I got it at. And I, of course, took the Washington football team because I think 8.5 is a lot of points for a Buffalo team that played really crappy in the first week and they're pretty good against Miami in the second week. The line's gone down to 7. I like Washington to cover, whether it's at 8.5, which is what I got it at, or 7. I think Washington's defense will create a little bit of problems for Josh Allen. I just don't know why the line's moved a whole 1.5 points. I think Washington football team's the way to go here. Let's go to the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City only favored by 6.5. Yes, I say only. Come on, guys. All you Hudson Sports Zone fans out there, this is a no-brainer. KC's at home, and Kansas City and Mahomes and Andy Reid, they find ways to win games. All the Chargers and young Justin Herbert right now find ways to lose games. They will find a way to lose if it's close, which I don't expect it to be, just like they did last week. Now let's go to the next game on the slate. Arizona Cardinals minus 7.5 versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. I expect this to be a laugher. I take Arizona. I would like Arizona even if this was minus 12 or minus 13. Jacksonville's just not a good quality team. They don't have enough talent. Urban Meyer's trying hard. Trevor Lawrence is going to try hard. But come on, who doesn't think Trevor Lawrence is going to be running for his life behind that hapless offensive line? I expect Tyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury's offense to score at least 30 points here against the Jacksonville defense. I don't expect this to be close. This is my most confident pick of the week. Let's go to Chicago versus Cleveland. Cleveland at minus 7. I've got the Cleveland Browns here. Justin Fields is in because Andy Dalton's out. For Cleveland, Landry's out, but OBJ is in. I think Myles Garrett is the difference in this one. I think Baker will do enough to keep Cleveland around, keep Cleveland around the number. I think Cleveland will probably win by 10 or 12 in this game. Fields will look better than expected, but will make some rookie mistakes. But Myles Garrett, he's going to be the difference maker here. And I think Fields is going to find out what it's like to run for his life a little bit in this one. Let's go to the New York Jets versus the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos minus 10.5. To you Hudson Sports Zone fans out there, when was the last time the Denver Broncos were favored by 10.5? I haven't looked it up, but it's got to be during the Peyton Manning era, which means it's 5 or 6 years ago. I expect Denver to cover. This is a tough one. It's a lot of points. But Steady Teddy, who's going to bet against Steady Teddy? Denver's at home. The Jets have to go play in Mile High. And I think Vic Fangio's D is just going to be way too much for Zach, the Jets quarterback, to overcome with his porous offensive line and the weaknesses they have at running back. The game of the week to most people. Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to LA to play the Los Angeles Rams. Of course, I'll pick a Tampa Bay here. Vegas has them minus 1, now minus 1.5 on the road. The home team typically gets 3. Means on a neutral field, Vegas would have it by 4.5. Come on, it's real simple. It's either you're picking on Brady or you're picking on Stafford. Should I say you're picking for Brady or you're picking for Stafford? I'm going to pick with the guy with 7 rings over the guy with no rings. I think it's pretty simple. Both have dynamic offenses. Both have solid defenses. I expect the Bucs defense to play a little bit better. I think this will be a very high-scoring game, and I love the over in this game. For those of you out there that know about the term parlay, taking the Bucs and the over, seems like a pretty good move for me. Let's go to the Miami Las Vegas Raiders game. I'm taking the Raiders here. Miami looked good in week 1, eking out a win over the Patriots. Miami obviously looked horrible last week, getting crushed at home by the Bills. Tua's out. Jacoby Brissett is in. I think he'll be overwhelmed on the road. playing in front of Raider fans at a packed 65,000 Allegiant Stadium, a.k.a. the Death Star. I don't see Jacoby being able to out-duel Derek Carr, and I think Gruden will call just enough quality plays to be able to out-fox Flores and the defense of Miami. Take the Raiders here minus the 3.5. The last game of the Sunday 4 o'clock window, 1 o'clock windows for you out west, the Seattle Seahawks, given 1.5, traveling to Minnesota. I love the Seattle Seahawks here. Who wouldn't? Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll, off of a loss, they're phenomenal. Off of a home loss, they're unbeatable. Plus, Minnesota, come on, Dalvin Cook's questionable, which means that there's more pressure on Kirk Cousins, and we know what happens when Kirk Cousins has to throw the ball. He throws it a lot. To his team, to the other team, Kirk Cousins won't be enough to overcome a Seattle team that's focused and needs to win to keep up in their NFC West division. Now let's go to Sunday Night Football. Probably the second game of the week. Everybody's talking about it because Aaron Rodgers is going home to old NoCal, or Northern California, where he came from. For those of you that don't know, here at the Hudson Sports Zone, he went to Cal Berkeley. He was drafted out of Cal Berkeley. He loves Northern California. But San Francisco owns Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers since they moved into Levi Stadium. When Jimmy G plays and the San Francisco team is mostly healthy, Green Bay can't compete. I expect this to be an easy cover. I don't think San Francisco is going to blow them out, but I expect San Francisco to win by 7, so I'm definitely taking the 3.5, and I feel very confident with that. To the Monday Night Football game. The Philadelphia Eagles versus the Dallas Cowboys at AT&T Stadium. I don't know what to do here, Hudson Sports Zone. I can't stand either team. I think both teams right now are overrated. Both teams have had, they've looked okay this year. But if you talk to people like Skip Bayless, Dallas looks great. And after week 1, he thought, Philly was going to give Dallas a run for the division. Philly could be better than we expected because I thought they'd be a 4, 5, or 6 win team. Maybe they're a 7 or 8 win team. Dallas, I don't know what to make of Dallas. They got a lot of talent, but they never seem to play up to their ability. They win when Dak doesn't play well. They lose when Dak plays really well and has stats. I don't know what to do here. So when I don't know what to do, I take the home team and I lay the points. Just makes sense to me. So I'm going to pick Dallas here strictly because they're at home. Let's see what happens. It's going to be a crazy game, as they always are, and this will go a long way since it's an early season division matchup to see who's looking good in the NFC East moving forward. All right, folks, those are my picks against the spread for all 16 games. For those of you that follow me on Twitter, you know that I picked Carolina as one of my top 5 confident picks. I also have Baltimore as one of my top 5 picks. New England, Arizona, and the Las Vegas Raiders. My most confident pick of the week, which I already stated, is the Arizona Cardinals to take care of business in Jacksonville against those hapless Jaguars. That's it, folks. That's it for this week. Oh, you know what? I told you I'd tell you about the quarterback injuries. Know that Big Ben is injured with a pec and is going to try to play, but it will not be more than 70%. Wentz is going to try to play with 2 bad ankles. Of course, Fitzy's out for the Washington football team, and Heineke's going to play again. Probably going to start for another 5 or 6 weeks as long as he's healthy. Tua is out at Miami, and Jacoby Brissett's in. Dalton's out for the Bears, and Justin Fields in. And then Tyrod Taylor's out, and Mills was in, and will be in for a couple of weeks for those Houston Texans. Hey, before I leave you today at the Hudson Sports Zone, I just want to point out that who would have guessed that the Denver Broncos, Carolina Panthers, and Las Vegas Raiders all have a shot at being 3-0 after week 3. I think that all 3 will end up being 3-0, and all 3 will make the playoffs. Yep, I just called it. Denver, Carolina, and Las Vegas Raiders will all be playoff teams. Book it. That's all for the Hudson Sports Zone today. I'll be coming at you Tuesday with a wrap-up from week 3. Enjoy watching the games. Take care.